The John Wick franchise is one of the most influential action movie series filmed in the last decade, and its significance is quite hard to overestimate. Very rarely do we see movies featuring eye-popping, fast-paced gun-fu scenes of such authenticity. Besides, thrillingly choreographed action is decently edited with no shaking cams and crazy cuts. It allows us to notice, process, and savor every movement. Therefore, today, we bring you the top weapons from the John Wick franchise. Number 16. Heckler & Koch P30L, $800. If you're wondering what the original John Wick's weapon of choice is, this is it, the HK P30L hammer-fire DASA 9mm pistol, developed by the German gun manufacturing company. The firearm first appears in the digging scene and helps John in several firefights, including the iconic home invasion and nightclub chase scenes. The model featured in the 2014 movie is chambered in the 9mm Luger cartridge and has a 15-round mag capacity. The barrel is longer than the original HK P30 and equals 4.45 inches. A long barrel gives a shooter several crucial benefits, such as more firepower and a longer sight radius for more accurate shots. Returning to the digging scene, when John opens a case, we see the P30L pistols alongside two smaller Glock 26s. As a professional assassin, John knows that a compact pistol won't hurt as a secondary arm, so we see this gun used at the beginning of the bathhouse shootout. He takes a few shots, but then switches to the P30L, outfitted with a compensator because it's a more massive gun that is easier to control for accurate follow-up shots. Number 15. Glock 34, $700. So what gun does John Wick use in Chapter 2? It's the Glock 34, but unlike the original model, this one features numerous upgrades and modifications by Taran Tactical Innovations. Notably, the company developed upgrades for many models featured in the movie series, while the company's director, Taran Butler, trained Keanu to make him the John Wick we all admire. The Glock 34 is a competition shooting version of the legendary Glock 17 full-size 9mm pistol. Thanks to a long barrel of 5.31 inches, the pistol provides a significant increase in accuracy and iconic firepower. When you look at the Glock perfected by Taran Tactical, you barely recognize it because the modifications are pretty intensive. John Wick's Glock boasts a flared magwell for faster reloads, recontoured grip, a competition trigger, slide porting, and an easy-to-pick-up fiber optic front sight. These modifications make the gun smoother, more accurate, and more powerful. Number 14. 1911 Pistols, $1,000. Because the 1911 is a legendary design, no wonder there are several 1911 pistols in the franchise. Some of them play a key role in the Wick movies. In one of the most iconic scenes of John Wick Chapter 2, where Wick and his fellow assassin Cassian, played by Common, fire at each other as they move with the crowd in the subway. The former uses a suppressed SW1911 SCE series manufactured by Smith & Wesson. Well, the dramatism of the firefight and the fact that no one notices anything strange keep the audience on the edge of their seats, but generally, the scene is humorous because it's not realistic. While a suppressor can affect the noise generated by the muzzle blast, it does nothing with the mechanical noise of the moving parts and the sonic boom caused by the bullet flying down range, in the case of supersonic ammunition. So no suppressor is capable of completely muffing the gun. Number 13. Sig Sauer MPX, $2,000. One of the most intense Chapter 3 scenes is the Continental Shootout, where Wick annihilates his armored opponents. During this firefight, he uses several guns, including the Sig MPX carbine. The particular model from the movie is the MPX, heavily improved by Taran Tactical, and equipped with the Trigicon MRO sight and a laser module. One of the most crucial TTI improvements includes the +11 base pad. The original MPX 9mm PCC from Sig Sauer has a 16-inch long barrel, shoots great, and gives virtually no recoil. However, the 9mm Luger handgun cartridge isn't the best choice for firefighting men wearing body armor. That's why John switched to something more powerful, the Benelli M2 Super 90. Number 12. Kel-Tec KSG, $800. Compared to handguns, rifles, and PCCs, shotguns aren't seen very often in the Wick series, but when they do appear, they are devastating. Kel-Tec KSG is one of the most unconventional John Wick shotguns seen briefly in the 2014 movie. It's a slick, tactical 12-gauge bullpup shotgun, which means the action is located behind the trigger, allowing for more maneuvering, less recoil, and more stability. The mag of John Wick's KSG shotgun holds 7+7 rounds. Number 11, DTA Stealth Recon Scout, $3,395. John Wick wields this powerful weapon like a sniper rifle in the first film, and it's remarkably capable. It entered production in 2007, courtesy of Desert Tactical Arms, and has been featured in several movies, TV shows, and video games due to its excellent quality and intimidating looks. This bolt-action sniper rifle is one of the few to feature a bullpup design, making it very compact in comparison to others in its class. Both mag and bolt lay behind the grip, shifting more weight to the rear of the rifle to create a better balance. Its primary cartridge is a .338 Lapua Magnum, but the rifle is capable of firing Creedmoor, .308 and .300 Winchester rounds. It can also be attached with a suppressor. Number 10. Colt Model 1903 Pocket Hammerless, $1,200. Winston gifts this pistol to Wick in the third chapter during the scene in the executive lounge. It's a gun that has seen a lot of service as a U.S. military sidearm, beginning with its initial production in 1903. Simplistic, stylish, and reliable, the Colt 1903 was powerful enough to do its task, though it was a bit on the heavy side, and its stopping power has since been dwarfed by its successors. Nevertheless, it is considered a classic, particularly the film version, thanks to its good-looking pearl grip. Number 9. Walter CCP, $450. John Wick is used to taking away other people's guns and using them against them, particularly if he's the target. He does this again in the third chapter when an assassin tries to take him out with a Walter CCP, fitted with a compensator. He later uses the weapon during the motorcycle chase scene. The CCP fires 9x19mm Parabellum or 380 ACP rounds from an 8-round mag and weighs just 1.4 pounds, making it lightweight and easy to carry. It comes in multiple versions, including a stainless steel duotone version which is featured in the film. Number 8. Glock 26, $600. One of the simpler guns in the franchise, John has used the Glock 26 in many of the movies. While it appears to be quite basic, it is one of Wick's personal favorites, which is not good for anyone who might happen to find themselves on the other end of the barrel. The most memorable scene that John Wick used this Glock in was the bathhouse scene from the first movie, which made it one of the best movies for fans of action movie fight choreography. Chasing down the man that took the life of his beloved dog, Wick has slayed over a dozen henchmen, mostly with this weapon. Number 7. Remington 1875, $300. For all the advancements made in gun designs over the last few hundred years, it's hard to beat the classics. John Wick Chapter 3 featured the Slayer brandishing one of these during the shootout at the Antique Weapon Museum in the first act. Wick's on-the-fly modification of the Remington 1875 is a direct nod to the Clint Eastwood classic The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where Tuco assembles his own Colt Navy from the individual parts of 3 separate guns. Number 6. Coharie Arms CA415, $1,850. Luring his enemies to a church, Wick unloaded upon them with a very powerful automatic rifle known as the Coharie Arms CA415. It's one of the most effective tactical rifles on the market, with a menacing look to boot. The CA415 featured in the film has a shortened barrel, in compensation to the production model, with a holographic sight and a vertical grip added for more stability. It fires 5.56 by 45mm NATO rounds in either full auto or semi-auto modes, depending on preference and tactical situation. Number 5. Kimber Warrior, $1,500. One of the guns that John Wick receives from his supplier in the second movie is the Kimber Warrior. Tearing through a large art exhibit, Wick expertly uses this handgun to take out a plethora of skilled and very well-armed gunmen. Perhaps the coolest moment of the entire movie is when John Wick does a one-handed press check after reloading the weapon in the middle of a firefight. The gun is essentially a customized 1911 based on the MC SOCOM ICQB, which makes the Warrior easy to field strip. Number 4. Kimber Solo CDP, $900. This particular weapon wasn't used by Wick himself, but another assassin outgunning for his blood. The female assassin in question hides a suppressed Kimber Solo CDP inside of her violin, in an attempt to stay blended in with her surroundings. That in itself is cool enough for special mention. The CDP is an easily concealed pistol with a very small frame, and fires 9x19mm rounds with a 6-shot capacity. They are especially popular for people who desire personal protection at a size that is easy to conceal inside of a purse or Colt. Number 3. TTI TR1 Ultralight, $2,150. In John Wick Chapter 2, there is a great scene where John is forced to fight off several enemies in an underground catacomb. Knowing this battle was going to happen beforehand, the experienced Slayer hid several weapons to prepare for his exfiltration. Among these hidden weapons is the TR1 by Terran Tactical Innovations. The film version was fitted with a collapsible stock, a pistol grip with a vertical foregrip, and a PRI compensator. Like many of Wick's rifles, the TR1 is compact, easy to control, and devastating in tight quarters. Number 2. Benelli M2 Super 90, $1,400. The final battle of the third chapter starts out looking a little grim for the protagonists of the series. A large team of heavily armed assassins is sent into the Continental Hotel to slay Wick, but when he starts shooting back at them, it is revealed that their armor is completely bulletproof. John compensates by grabbing a Benelli M2 Super 90. It's loaded with armor-piercing rounds that end up evening the score quite effectively. The M2 is a super shotgun available in either tactical or field model and fires 12-gauge shotgun shells in either 4, 5, or 7 capacity limits. It's also semi-auto for easier use in combat. Number 1. TTI Sig Sauer MPX Carbine, $10,499. John Wick's signature weapon stance is part of his character traits, and he shows it off when he wields an assortment of rifles. In the third film, he busts out an MPX carbine during the fight at the New York Continental, equipped with an MRO sight and a laser module. The MPX is a variant of the popular Sig Sauer Combine, which fires 9x19mm, 357 SIG, or 40 S&W rounds. The MPX features a 14.5 to 16-inch barrel and can fire 10, 20, or 30 rounds, depending on the choice of mag. That's all for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you another time.